say about what Buddy did tonight for you guys?
He was huge. The 33 points were great. 9 threes, incredible. But what he did on the defensive end was even more impressive. He took on every matchup that he had, whether it was Jalen, Fred, all over the hawk and the ball handler. He ended up with Sengun on the post. Made him force a miss. Knocked the ball out. We was able to come up with the loose ball. He made winning plays all night. Huge game for him, 37 minutes. I'm not sure he's played that amount of minutes all year. But stayed the course. When we needed him most, he delivered. And if I didn't throw him a grenade, he would have been 9 for 10 for 3, but I threw him a grenade, so I'll take that one.
Draymond, Coach, before you came in, he said that your emotions played a big part in this. What were what was that conversation with the team before you guys came out tonight?
I thought, my people I trust in most had, we had some heart-to-hearts after last game. My wife, one of my closest friends, Travis, my barber was one of my closest friends, Coach Izzo, and I pouted way too much last game. So I spent the last 2 days embarrassed, just at what I gave to the game, what I gave to the world. I was embarrassed, and so I've been dying since the last game ended to get out on the floor and prove who I am. One thing about this league, you're never done proving who you are until you're done, completely finished. And so I wanted to come out and prove again just who I am, with poise, but with the same fire, same tenacity, but poise. And I think I delivered that and gave our guys something to follow. What I gave them last game to follow, they followed it. And that's why we got bullied. But I think I gave them something different to follow today. And that was the message, that was the goal. We got it done.
Draymond, Steve said that you set the tone last night at the team dinner with that speech. What goes into deciding to give that speech, and what was the reception from the rest of your teammates?
Well, I think what goes into it is it's really deciding who's going to get a speech. Obviously, I always try to defer to Steph, defer to Jimmy, and they wanted me to speak. But I had a lot to say. And like I said, most importantly was calling myself out. You can't go into a Game 7 expecting guys to rally off the game we had before and not address it. And so I wanted to address that, number one. But then secondly, tell everybody else what we needed, which was a togetherness like no other. And our huddles together, trusting in each other and believing. And so thought it was much needed. But as much as I think this team needed it, I feel like I needed it for myself even more. Because you got to be accountable. You can't be a leader and not be accountable. And you call other guys out. When their shit stinks, then you better say when yours does too. And that's what I tried to make a point in doing.
After 13 years and 6 Game 7s together with Steph, what does it mean to you to walk off the court after a game like that?
It means a lot, especially losing a 3-1 lead, having to come on the road and win it. Means a ton to continue playing at this level, having the opportunity to compete at this level. And it's a little more special that we've done it here before. So it's a familiar feeling.
Draymond, couldn't help notice you and Steve having a shoot around, mostly Steve talking and you listening. Just what was kind of the mood of that one?
Just really setting a tone for what he needed from me today, which is poise, leadership. But he had some great words. He gave me a story, a few different stories. They were great, but I think the gist of it was just, you've done so much. Whether we win or lose this game, when it's all said and done at the end of your career, nobody will remember. So go out, have fun with poise, give your guys something to follow. He told me you're one of the most competitive people I've ever been around. And one of the greatest leaders I've been around So it's my job to let you know what your leadership should be tonight, like how you need to lead, what that needs to look like for tonight. It's my job to prepare you for that. My job to get you ready emotionally to play. And it's one of the better conversations we've ever had, and we've had some great ones. But that one I'll remember for the rest of my life.
You talked about the huddles. I noticed you had a huddle right before the start, before tip-off, maybe in a different kind of way. It definitely sounded or felt like it was a little more emotional. Was that a big moment for you?
It was definitely a big moment for us, for me, for us. You know, the emotions in the game 7 run high, and we just wanted to make sure we were on the right side of that. Not tightening up, because you got to be loose, but understanding what every possession means. Understanding that we weren't giving our energy to anything outside of ourselves. And thinking setting that tone, everybody, we did that.
How would you contextualize this series for Steph, with just the way that he defended him, the way he performed, and then finishing with 14 fourth quarter points tonight?
That was huge. That's why he is who he is. He just made the simple play tonight. Had 3 points for a lot of the game, and then he bust out. But he made the right play. He just moved the ball on and trusted other guys to make the play because of how they was guarding him. And it's a beautiful game to see him close it out. He knew once, like, all right, now it's time for me to take over and take this thing home. It was beautiful, man. But I want to give a lot of credit to that team down there. Ime, the way he had those guys fighting, I gained a lot of respect for that team throughout this series. One of the tougher series I've played in, personally. But that's a young team to be reckoned with. And I told myself I was going to talk crazy because they have been talking crazy all series and on the internet, but I gained so much respect for those guys. Sengun is an incredible player. The way Fred VanVleet and Steven Adams led those guys, they had no experience, and they led them, took us to the brink. That team's going to be a force to be reckoned with, and I hope they understand it. You know, things can change fast in this league. You're only on the up until you're not, you know. But they got something promising that they can continue to build on. Jabari Smith, incredible. He played like a vet this whole series, getting his spots, knocking big shots down. A lot of respect for those guys.
Draymond, Steve talked about meaningful basketball and being able to play it this time of year. When you go back to the trade deadline and all what's preceded since then, are these the kind of games you were thinking about playing when the trade happened and just in this moment?
Absolutely. This is exactly what the trade was for, to get back to this level, play meaningful basketball, as Steph has been saying all year. And Jimmy, which is what he's been to this group, has allowed us to be in this position to continue our season and possibly do something special.
Dre, you talked about winning the championship shortly after the trade on All-Star Weekend, but now that you have gone, you still have to go through the war. Like, now that you've gone through a 7-game battle, what do you feel this group is capable of doing moving forward to the next round?
I think this group is capable of exactly what we set out to do, which is win a championship. We know the things that we need to improve on and continue to get better at, but I got the utmost confidence in this group. Didn't want to go 7 games, but in the end, it won't hurt us with that experience that our young guys got the opportunity to get. But I think we're right where we need to be, right where we want to be, with an opportunity to continue to extend this thing, and we believe. Yeah, I mean, I was never rattled, but, you know, with every win, I think that grows.
When you talk about feeling embarrassed the past couple of days leading into tonight, how do you use that as fuel, and how do you, in what ways do you channel that feeling onto the court?
Well, I had to channel it in a different way because that could lead you to, come out and I want it so bad. I actually went the opposite way. I listened to all slow music the last couple of days, just kind of calmed myself down, went to the spa, meditate, because I know I can ratchet my intensity up. I know I'm going to meet the intensity level, but I felt like I was going too far. I listened to Checkout Time on the way to the game the other day, and that was the exact mindset I had going into that game. So wanted to change it up a little bit today. Some Brent Fayez, SZA, 90s R&B, just kind of completely changed it up. So it was good for me.
came into the series, Jalen Green came into the series, their leading scorer, and y'all had different guys on him throughout the series. And I think just one game he was able to get off. How were y'all able to corral him, kind of keep him in check throughout the series?
I think doing your work early. We did a good job on him to start the series, and I think that kind of rattled his confidence a little bit. This isn't something he's been a part of before. He's a good young player. He'll learn from his mistakes. But you got to give the guys credit that was guarding him. Buddy, Steph, BP, GP, JK, anybody who was on him, he was a focal point in trying to take him out of this series. We know what they're capable of when he's scoring. And so we really wanted to take him out of the series, and I think we did a good job of it. But like I said, he's a good young player. He'll grow. He'll continue to learn from this. Tough first experience for him, but he's not the first young up-and-coming star to have a tough experience in the playoffs. Won't be the last. I think he'll continue to grow from it. He got a great coach to lead him. Fred, great leader to lead him, and I think he'll grow from it. But, I got to give our guys a lot of credit and our coaching staff a lot of credit with the game plan on him.
Draymond, how would you describe sort of the vibe when Buddy gets in that zone? And related to that, any interaction with him and Jimmy? Him and Jimmy have gone back and forth. And what was tonight like? I mean, did Jimmy say anything afterward, or what was that?
I didn't catch any of their banter tonight, but Buddy was huge. And ironically, I could see just the way he was walking this morning, like the way he was talking, like he was so engaged. And he delivered on the biggest stage. Got to give him his credit. It was huge for us. Sure it was big for his confidence. We're going to need that Buddy to continue on. And it won't be 9 threes every night, but just the intensity and focus level that he had. Should get on, in these playoffs, it becomes more and more important.
You mentioned kind of your mindset shift from Game 6 to Game 7, the need for kind of a calmer version of yourself. You're about to go to Minnesota, quick turnaround. Gobert, the size of Minnesota. What do you need to do in that series? And I guess how do you have to keep that similar type?
Yeah, I have to keep it similar for my guys. Forget anybody else. But for my guys, I need to stay that way. So I'll be locked in. It'll be good, but finding that balance, finding that line, not crossing it is important for me and this team. And I gave them my word. I'll continue to give them my word.
Hey, Draymond, Steve said he didn't have you guys ready for last game. Apparently you were ready this game. What did he do to help that process?
Number one was coming into the locker room right after Game 6 and saying, that's on me. I ain't had y'all ready to play. So the accountability and leadership, number one. But number two, just the belief. I would tell y'all, Steve's so calm in these situations. Everybody get rattled, he just be just like this. So when you have a coach that walks in like that, it settles everybody down. And, obviously he's the best in the business when it comes to game plans this time of year.
There were some pretty jubilant scenes with you and Steph late in the game. There's been some hostility with the Houston crowd. Do you guys enjoy playing in this arena and winning in this city?
It's always fun winning in the city and winning in this arena. So Fred had made a comment earlier in the series, said this ain't that team. It's that organization, though. And we like coming to this city and playing in these situations. It's been good to us. And also, I think what you saw from us is, like, this stuff is hard, man. He told me the other day, he said, I got a question, and they were saying, like, yo, this is tougher than it used to be. It's like, man, no, it ain't. It's always been hard. And we know how hard it is. It just looked easy, but it's always been hard. And so just, to get over that first hump, you feel good about it, enjoy it, appreciate it tonight, and move on from it tomorrow.
Draymond, there was a lot of, back and forth physicality throughout this entire series, between you and the other teams. You and some of the other players. But at the end of the day, all of them gave you respect and said that you're a very good player. Fred just got through talking about how good of a person you are, good of a player you are. What does that mean to you, knowing that all of the negative things you hear about yourself, but knowing that the players respect you like that?
It's always about respect from your peers. Fans will feel how they feel. The public will feel how they feel. It's okay. I'm really not here to appease to them. But when you got respect amongst your peers, that's the most important thing. And like I said, they earned my respect. Always got a lot of love for Fred. We've had our battles, But Fred is a stand-up guy. The way he led those guys this year, coming in last year is tough, continued to lead, believe, carried this team to a 2 seed. We're probably an average age of 24. So special. But Fred is a special leader. I told y'all the other day, he's the reason we lost to Toronto. Everybody try to make it like, oh, he's not giving Kerr respect. No, it's not that. Fred was that X factor. We had no matchup for him. We couldn't get matched up with him, and he beat us. Big shot after big shot. But it's a lot. Like I said, I got a lot of respect for those guys, man. They took us to the brink. They never backed down from anything. They got a bright future. If they can continue to work and put it together, really bright future. 'Cause that's a tough team, athletic, dogs. Didn't back down at all. So I got a lot of love and respect for those guys. They made me better this series. I had to get better in order for us to win this series. And that was because of what they did.